Hello and welcome to Channel 2S. I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and it's time for some more Gunpla news. So first up, we got some nice in-hand builds of the high-grade Gundam Vidar and the high-grade Bugu. These came out just a couple days ago. They're looking pretty good. The Vidar itself actually looks decent enough for a straight build high-grade, although it has pretty much nothing on the 100. Like, that thing just looks so awesome. Well, the high-grade's still pretty cool, too. And then we have the Bugu, and the Bugu, I have to say, I hated this design when it came out. I've talked about this before. It's grown on me a lot. This is actually becoming one of my favorite of the Xeon prototype suits. I just love how it looks now. It's just so cool. I might actually have to pick one of these up, although maybe not right now, but, you know, at some point in the future. Then this little thing going on, well, it went on a few days ago over the weekend called Miyazawa Model Expo, and they showed off a bunch of upcoming model kits there. Now, most of these we also have nice, fancy official images of, so I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I will talk about the Providence Gundam because last time I saw this one, I wasn't really too fond of it. I kind of felt like it was a little over-detailed almost in a way, or rather, it was detailed in kind of odd places and in odd ways that didn't really make sense. It is definitely an odd redesign, at least to me, but I think it's grown on me a little seeing it here. It definitely looks a little cooler than it did before. It's definitely a very big, imposing kit, and it's not one I'm going to be personally picking up with, but it is still pretty cool. Then they also had the Reborn 100 Rebawu. This one, something still feels really off about this. Maybe it's the proportions, maybe it's the chest. I think it's the chest, but something about it just looks a little off, and I can't put my finger on it. So now, on to those fancy, nice images. First up, we have the high-grade Build Fighters Amazing Strike Freedom Gundam. It's looking a lot nicer now again, as it does every single time. Those first images that we saw, it did not do it justice. It is actually a pretty interesting design. I'm really interested in these binders on the back, because if you look at them, it looks like there's some kind of swiveling mechanism inside them so the Dragoon parts can open up, almost like a kind of twist on the full burst mode that the Strike Freedom had. I kind of want to see what that looks like extended out now. It looks pretty interesting. And then, of course, we have the high-grade Build Fighters Luna Gazer Gundam. Now, I didn't like this one at first. I thought the plastic looked really cheap and kind of crappy. And then I looked at it some more, saw some new images of it, and I was like, okay, this doesn't look too bad. And now that we've got, like, final end-be-all images of the stock-built kit, I'm kind of back to disliking it. It just looks awful. Like, the design's cool. I like the design, but that plastic, that color of white just looks so cheap, and I can't stand it. Then we have the high-grade The Origin Zaku 1. This one's looking pretty much as it has before in the past, so there's not too much to say about it other than the fact that I am noticing a lot of nub marks on this one, which is kind of odd for Dengeki Hobby, considering that, you know, they're taking official magazine shots of the kit. You think they want to make it, you know, look nice as possible, but maybe this is just a common thing that they do a lot with these early samples since they have to rush them out, but it just seems to stick out more than usual here. Then we have also from high-grade The Origin, the Guncannon Firing and Mobility Test Type. This is kind of one of those 2-in-1 kits where you can build it as two different designs. The mobility configuration looks pretty okay. I mean, it's got kind of a V-fin antenna, which is kind of funny to see on a gun tank, but looks all right. And then the real star of the package here, at least for me, is the Firing Test Type. This looks awesome. I love how they put the gun tank cannons on the shoulders. It looks cool. It has those awesome little pistons underneath them that the gun tank early type did. It's looking really cool. I'm liking this. Again, this is another one I think I'm going to try and pick up because it just looks pretty darn cool. Then we have the high-grade Universal Century GM ground type. There's literally nothing more I can say about this kit. It looks awesome. I want one. I will get one. Real grade Build Strike, again, not much more to say about it. It's a really cool looking kit. It's got a lot of detail. It's really awesome. Again, I'm going to pick one of these up probably as soon as I can because I really like Build Fighters, really like real grades. This guy is awesome. Then we have the Master Grade Psycho Zaku, and I have to say, for a straight build, this is looking really, really good. There's so much color, so much detail. Although I'm not really sure how I feel about those crinkly hoses, though. I mean, I've heard enough questionable stories about the full armor gun to be kind of wary of this kit, but I don't know, just there's enough little things about it that kind of have me hesitant that I'm probably not going to pick one up. That, and it's like, you know, a $100 plus kit, so that has to be factored in as well. Then there's the Master Grade Gym Sniper 2. Now, I do like, again, there's a lot of detail on this. It looks really, really nice as a straight build. I just don't like the proportions on it. Like, they kind of messed it up a little bit. Like, the shoulders are really tall, and it makes him look like he's kind of hunching up his shoulders, and there's some other odd little discrepancies about the proportions, but those are the ones that that's the one that really sticks out to me, and it bugs me because it kind of throws off the whole design, and I don't know, I'm not sure how I like that. Then we have high-grade IBL Option Set 7. This one has a lot of cool weapons in it. We got these ice pick kind of looking things. We got a bunch of cool guns, and I think this is the first option set we've ever gotten that does not include a mobile worker, so there's no new worker with this one. And I think this is also the first one where I absolutely love like pretty much every weapon in it. Like everything in here looks awesome. I might actually try to see if I can pick this up. I think it might very well be my first IBO weapon set. Then we have the mobile armor. Now this is not one of those unpainted pictures. This is a standard painted Bandai stock image. So obviously the colors might not be exactly the same on the final kit, but just keep that in mind. So, you know, it's looking pretty cool. It does have a stand for the tail. I like that because wire weapons in general, they look really cool, but they have a tendency to kind of droop over time. And some of them, like the one on the Hugo, for example, doesn't really like to hold itself up very well at all. So it's nice to see that they're including a stand with it. So if you want to pose him whipping around his tail, you can do so without any worries of it weakening over time. And then the little support machine, this little purple guy, looks pretty cool right now, but it is very obviously painted. I'm honestly predicting that this is probably just going to be purple plastic on release with just like a gray part for the tail and then a bunch of stickers for everything else. Although maybe the joint parts might end up being gray. We'll have to see. It depends on how big this actual unit is. Like, it looks pretty small as it is now, but if it turns out to be a little bigger, you know, maybe they'll work a little more color into it. But again, IBO seems to be kind of light on the color separation, so it's probably not going to be super amazing. Then we have the 100 Gundam Vidar, and this does look super amazing. Actually, I really like how this looks. Looks super awesome. But I'd be a little more hyped for it if the IBO 100 kits didn't kind of have a tendency to get loose over time. Like, a lot of people I've talked to that have built these kits were like, yeah, they look really cool, but like after a while, the joints tend to get really loose on them. And I'm kind of worried about that happening with this one because it looks awesome and I really want to get one. Not sure how it'll hold up over time, though. And then this final kit we're going to talk about, this does deserve a spoiler alert. So if you don't want to know anything more about the Gundam FLAUROS until it shows its full potential in the anime, and believe me, there is more stuff it can do that it hasn't shown. So if you don't want to know about any of that, this would be a good time to just leave a like and move on to another video. So bye-bye. Okay, you're gone now? Good. So those of you that are ready for spoilers, it's time to talk about the FLAUROS. So we have this awesome image of a leaked copy of the high grade to drool over, and there is a lot we can take from this. For one thing, the colors look so much better now. It's not that weird light pink that it looked like at first. It's a really vibrant reddish, still kind of pink, but like more of a magenta now, and it's really cool looking. Reminds me a little bit of the Astria. It reminds me, of course, of the Ryusei Go. It's a much nicer color, and I like it a lot. And also, notice that on this particular copy, the cannons are missing. Now, some people were thinking, oh no, you know, they put the cannons in the weapon set. That's so cheap of them. How dare they, Bandai? Well, actually, no, because I present to you the leaked box art for the Gundam FLAUROS. Now notice that the cannons are featured pretty much front and center on the kit, right smack in the middle of the box, and he doesn't really have much of any other weapons, so these are probably the weapons that are going to be included with the kit in the base release. I'm glad to see that. The cannons are a big major part of the silhouette, and it would be kind of weird if they dropped them, so it's good to see that they're here. And also, if you look just behind the FLAUROS, yeah, your eyes are not deceiving you, the FLAUROS can transform. We have our first fully transforming mobile suit in Iron-Blooded Orphans, and it looks pretty darn cool. Now this cat-like form is referred to as a firing mode in the box, which makes sense because those cannons on the shoulders look pretty powerful, so, you know, getting his kind of center of gravity low on the ground so he doesn't, you know, blow himself backwards when he fires his cannons is probably a good idea, and it looks pretty awesome as well. So I wasn't really wowed by the FLAUROS last time we were looking at it. Those initial images of the colors of it just did not look good, but I have to say, these new reveals have definitely changed my mind on it. So that's about it for tonight. So again, if you haven't already, leave a like. Always means a lot to me. And it is the month of December. We've just started. And last month, I wanted to see if we could get to 2,000 subscribers. And we did. Not only get to 2,000, we got to 2,500 by the end of the month. And right now, we're at around 2,700, just shy of that. I'm thinking, going to be a little ambitious here. Let's see if we can get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I know it's a big goal. I think we can make it. Those of you who are here back in November know the drill. But for those of you who have come here since then, what I want you guys to do is basically just share the crap out of all of these videos. You know, share them with your Facebook build groups, share them on your Twitter, on your Tumblr, wherever. Just spread them around. Spread the word. I want to make this the biggest, coolest Gundam community that I can. Let's make this happen, guys. If you are new here, if you came to this video because someone shared it, or you just stumbled on this video by complete chance and you haven't subscribed yet, click that icon on the screen right now to subscribe. And if you want to check out some of my other content I've made in the past, go ahead and click the thumbnails to either side of that icon. And until then, I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and I will see you next time.